Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, Swamp Swimmer, and with me, as always, the Towley to my Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo, Vespacian.
I love it. That's very appropriate. Hi, everybody.
Okay, I've got something to talk about. Something I'm very concerned about. I think I might be turning into a work pooper. Meaning, I only poop at work, not at home. Is that a weird thing? Am I weird?
I don't know if that's weird. I don't know that I've ever tracked it that closely to know. I mean, maybe I am one and I don't realize it.
Yeah.
I think that you've got a young kid, right, and probably a busy at-home life, which means that it might not be possible to create the time and space for such activities at home. I don't know.
I just realized I've got a little morning routine when I get to work. Have a coffee, do my thing. And I realized I don't use my restroom at home in that way at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm addicted to it. Will I be able, if I ever leave this job, will I be able to come back to my home? I don't know. I'm getting worried. Should I be worried?
Gosh, I mean, if that actually eventuates, yes, you should be worried. That sounds like a health issue. But
anyway.
But I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to
if
say.
anyone in our audience
Thanks for sharing, though. Thanks for sharing.
Has this problem, please fill me in. Tell me the solution. What's the answer? I'm glad this doesn't afflict you, my friend. But let's jump on to the battle report after this short intro video. Last we left off was my round 3, where I actually got a win in the fastest game I've ever played. Last we left off with you. You got a solid win against Rick. You're still on table 1. And you get paired into, oh boy. You get paired into our good friend, Mr. Josh, with his Warriors of the Dark Gods. So a little story from last year, right? You got paired into Josh. I think it was round 3 also last year.
Yep.
And the game took a long time.
Yeah, you can see how long it took from the pictures because they get progressively darker because the sun went down. I think I might have even quipped in the Army list review that I was really hoping I wouldn't play Josh round 3, and here we were.
Yep.
So, listen, Josh is a great guy. Really nice guy. But he has a little bit of a reputation on the scene for being a slow player, and I had a dinner reservation at Serious Dumplings with you actually.
Yes.
That I was trying to make. So. Let's see how it goes.
So it is still refuse flank, capture the flags. This is also a scenario with special models. The what do you call it? Ranking, the draft of special models. You got the yellow cowardly knight, which is tell me what it is. Remind me. The Fey Knight.
Basically, it's a Fey Knight that has discipline 5, and if I recall correctly, it fears everything.
Oh,
so it's not very good in combat for that reason, but it's still a Fey Knight, right? So it has a 4-up Aegis. It's pretty beefy, all things considered. So I think it's not a bad. I mean, I was picking last if I recall correctly. So
yeah,
I think it was second to last, so not a bad.
It was you were left with like 1 or 2 choices or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember off the top of your head what Josh took?
I remember better than off the top of my head. He got the group, the unit of 3 bridge trolls.
Oh.
which they were bridge trolls in every way except they suffered from stupidity.
Oh.
And for some reason, they had leadership 6, which I think original trolls used to have leader or discipline 4, but they had
Yeah, 4 or
6
5. Yeah, yeah,
instead.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, but I mean, stupidity sucks. So, yeah. And
Yeah.
he's a Warriors player, right? So no BSB.
True.
So, anyways, yeah.
Okay, there
So
you
we'll
go.
see.
Let's see here. I'm jumping to the first pick. Oh, duh. If you are interested in Vespacian's list, please click the link right above my head. It'll take you to the round 1 video where we go over both of our lists in more detail. And if you want even more information about the list of the tournament, click this link right above my head now. It'll take you to the list review video where we go through all the lists. But let's look at what Josh is bringing. 5-pack enterprises. No, 5-pack enterprises. Ooh, oh. He's got a sorcerer general, adept on alchemy on foot, Destiny's Call, sorcerer on a sky's wheel, adept on evocation, rod of battle, 22 warriors with greed, zealot's banner, 6 fallen, 5 fell drakes with halberds and banner of discipline, 2 times forsaken ones, a chosen chariot of envy, 3 times 5 wrath chosen with great weapons, 5 flayers, and 5 barb horsemen.
Yep.
He's been slowly tinkering with this list, and this is like MSU single model warriors, not characters, but warriors goodness.
Yeah.
And actually, before you start talking about the list, I have your your notes here.
Yeah. So, good list. I think not a great list for flags because he's got a lot of small, scoring units. I need to prioritize the chaff and forsaken ones so that I can manage the movement phase because after that, everything is basically on foot, right? Swordmasters obviously are quite good in this matchup because they go before Wrath Chosen.
Yes, they do,
and all that. So. And I end up rolling up the Fireball and the Wizard Hat. Not great, but could be worse. I think my spell selection kind of sells itself here. So yeah, I think because I got Fireball, I went with Truth of Time, if I recall correctly, but I can't remember exactly. Yeah,
Fireball. I mean, maybe against the Forsaken ones, that's something you want to use to plink through a 6. I guess
Yeah, the Blaze is not bad against him either. It's cheap. I mean, it could be worse. Like I would. It's not like number 1 I would have picked, but this could be worse.
Okay. So first pick here is marked. Your opponent's spells. I can hardly read this.
Okay. Yeah. Good point. So he took Lash. I think he wanted to be able to shoot at the dragons. Word of Iron, Glory of Gold, obviously. And then he has Lightning Band Braces, and Rod of Battle as well. And then the other guy took
the Hereditary, Spectral Blades, and Rod of Battle.
Blades.
Yeah.
I think in his spell selection he maybe was worried about getting outmaneuvered or me not engaging, and so he wanted to take the 3 blast spells. I remember him kind of considering that, but yeah.
All right, first one. This is deployment. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so a little bit of an awkward angle because it was the refused flank, but basically my left to right, I put my Fey Knight, that's the yellow knight, way out on the left. I basically just want him to essentially harass and kind of act as chaff over on the left-hand side. I've then got my mage there kind of immediately. The BSB dragon behind him. The big unit of archers is in the back. You can see that kind of long line.
Oh, down there.
And then correct down there. Sorry. Lancers are behind there. My small unit of archers, the blue archers are the 15-pack. The swordmasters are kind of up front and center, behind right in the middle there. You can see the neck of the ancient dragon. And then the initiate, you can see the green wings kind of on the other side of the hill over there.
Yeah.
So not a great picture, but it was sort of hard to get the angle and get all of his stuff in. And then on his side, if I recall correctly, there was a unit of barb horsemen and a unit of flayers behind that house that you can't see there over on the left. He's got his big unit of Feldrax, 2 5-packs of Chosen. I think those are the 2 with the musicians, if I recall correctly. There's one that doesn't have the musicians. He's then got the big unit that's got his sorcerer on foot in there. And then Flayers, the other 5-pack of Chosen. Oh, no, excuse me. Those are the trolls.
Yeah, those are the trolls.
White faces. Yeah. The 5-pack of Chosen behind them, which I think he regretted later when he remembered about the stupidity. And then he's got, I think, the unit of Flayers behind one of the 2 Forsaken ones, the other of the 2 Forsaken ones, and then his Chosen chariot. And you can see the kind of that flaming guy back there is the guy on the side Skywell.
Oh, right there, I see.
Right there. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Who chose size and who did you drop, or did he drop?
I think I definitely go to the next one. I think I dropped.
This is top of 2 movement. Is the next photo?
Whoops. Okay, got it. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that I dropped to go first. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was trying to take advantage of that house over on the right. It basically like refuses that flank to him. And there's a hill that my stuff is under, so was relatively happy with that from a charging perspective. And I felt I could set up pretty flexibly because it's pretty clear where he's going to be. So I go ahead and take first turn. Essentially move the Swordmasters up, keep them out of ranges of the Forsaken ones, adjust the dragons around to kind of zone. And then I focus my shooting for my archers and I think maybe even a fireball, something on the Forsaken ones, and I get I take off 4, maybe even 5 wounds off of one of the Forsaken ones. I think I might have even gotten a silver spike in on the Chosen chariot. I wanted to get, basically my thinking was, if I can clear up all those kind of fast moving mobile targets over on the right, then I can essentially chaff and deal with the Feldrax on the left and clean up all the big points from the Chosen units and the infantry units in the middle with the Swordmaster. So that was sort of where I was going with it. And so you said the next one was top of 2, is that right?
Yeah, let's chop there.
Okay.
Top 2 movement.
Yeah, so a couple things happen here. So basically he starts moving his Feldrax around, right?
Yeah.
You can see he gave me, I think because maybe he failed a march block or something, he gave me a charge or he chaffed my Fey Knight with his unit of Flayers over here on the left. So I took that charge. And my big decision in turn 2, and I've in my mind I've kind of fondly started calling this the dumpling decision. Was I had an easy charge with my Ancient Dragon into the leading Forsaken one.
Is this the wounded one or non?
The wounded one, with an overrun into the Forsaken one behind it. And so in my mind I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to take a round from the Forsaken one, but with an easy overrun into the one behind it, I have an entire magic and shooting phase to dump into that one behind it, and if I can get it down or maybe even kill it, then I can just overrun. I'll be out of the arc of his big unit. I'll have finished up the Forsaken ones early, and I'll have the Ancient Dragon essentially, amuck in his back line. And I think looking back, there was absolutely no reason for me to do this. I was crushing the Forsaken ones from range. They were out of range of my fire base. I have all the range damage in this game. But what I was looking to do was I was looking to essentially like break his back on that right flank, and then I think that if that goes well, I've cleared up both Forsaken ones. I've got an Ancient Dragon with essentially no counter charges and a free pivot in my turn, ready to charge.
Yeah.
So I saw it as a high risk, high reward play. And I felt like it was, I felt like I had the overall advantage and could take it, or could afford to take it. So I do it. I charge. And what I think actually this picture may be after combat, because at this point I think the Ancient has killed that front Forsaken one, taken a couple wounds as a result, and has overrun into the one behind its flank, which was based on the positioning. So if you go back to that picture, you can kind of see essentially I'm out of the arc of the big block. There is one counter charge, which is that 5-man Wrath Chosen back
this
there,
one here. Yeah.
right? But to be honest with you, I don't necessarily hate that, because it's a scoring unit, right?
Yeah.
And I can potentially clean that up. The Prince strikes before them, etc. So in my shooting and magic phase, so just before that combat, in my shooting and magic phase, I do okay. I think I take off like 2 or 3 wounds off of the rear Forsaken one, which was fine. I do think it was this turn that I got a silver spike through on the Chariot and failed to wound it, which was a bummer. He was basically letting it off every turn because I was 2-dicing it at 18 inches. And the first turn I did a couple wounds. The second turn I failed to do anything. But overall, feeling pretty good about this. And I do clean up those flares in the bottom.
That makes this isn't easy. Yeah, and he just didn't want you to charge his flank, and he needed to move these Feldrakes fast.
I think he was overestimating the Fey Knight there, in my opinion. So I think what do we have as the next picture? Sorry.
Let's see here. Bottom 2.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where I can't remember if the Feldrax fail a march block, or if he was just being too cautious with them. I can't remember why he.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
If you go back. Yeah, there's nothing there, and so you can see his unit marker, which in Josh's defense, I think he is doing a lot of things to try to make his game faster. So you can see
he didn't move up that much. Yeah,
not much. Yeah, so I was a little surprised by that, because I think this turn he could have pressured quite a lot, especially with the Ancient, back over there, and the Swordmaster's turned away. So this turn, so here you can see he brings in his Wrath Chosen into the Ancient up top. And you can see the couple wounds I've taken.
You did pop the first Forsaken one.
Yeah.
Overran into the second. That looks like it's taken 4 wounds.
Yeah, and I think I had put Perception debuff on it.
Okay.
So that was the other part of my strategy, was to kind of like set myself up for that later phase. And so he has run his Fallen up and chaffed my Swordmasters, as you can see. He's run his little sorcerer caster kind of around the building, and he's gonna play peekaboo with me over there for pretty much the rest of the game.
Okay.
I don't know if you can even see him.
You can't see him. Yeah.
And so he starts moving up his other Wrath Chosen into the center. So again, I think he could have parted with me on with the Feldrax there. But anyway, so he moves up. So then in this combat, what happens is I wipe the Chosen.
Wipe?
I kill them because I've got the Stomp, and I put the Prince into them because he's striking first, and the Forsaken one is gonna strike regardless, right? So there's no point. It's better to kill Chosen attacks, right? And I think I do manage to kill 2 before they swing, which is good. The Chosen underperform, but what happens that is unfortunate is that I think with only 2 wounds left on the Forsaken one, I fail to kill it. And I save my breath weapon for it and everything. And so I do 1 wound to it, which is a real bummer. Because now what I was hoping to do was kill those Chosen, right? Kill the or make them run, kill the Forsaken one, and then be ready to either evacuate, run away, or charge something cool, right?
Yep.
With a free pivot. And instead, because the Forsaken one surviving by 1 wound, I'm screwed, because the Ancient takes a decent number of wounds. Wrath, I mean, 3 Wrath Chosen, obviously, and a Forsaken. Now at this point, 2 rounds for Forsaken ones. I think he's down to like 2 wounds, 3 wounds left, right? So that was a real bummer. So then I'm not sure where we go from here.
Let's see here. Top of 3. Okay, we're good.
Okay, good. So now you can see that big pile of wound markers there on my Ancient Dragon. Swordmasters go into the Fallen. Why not? Fey Knight runs around and chaffs the Feldrax. Might as well. It's a free model, right? And I pull all of my other units back, basically away from the Wrath Chosen. Don't want to give them any good charges.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. I think again, either don't do much or fail to wound or something with Silver Spike on the Chariot. I've been trying to kill that Chariot.
This Chariot just won't die.
Sitting around there, just won't die. And not exactly. I think I probably start working on the Chosen units in the middle. I do put my. It looks like I put my Eagle. You can see the base up there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Looks like I put my Eagle up there. Basically, what I'm trying to prevent is a Greed Brick and double Wrath Chosen charge into the Swordmasters.
What? The Swordmasters can't take that?
That's a lot of beef.
Swordmasters can't take that? Come on.
It's a lot of beef. On the charge, Wrath Chosen strikes Simo to Swordmasters. So I was like, that feels bad. I think I can handle it, but I didn't want to deal with everything all at once. So I put the Eagle up. And I think it's in this turn, while I do kill the Forsaken one, because he gets to strike back, he manages to finish the Ancient Dragon by 1. So he does exactly what he needs, which is a real shame.
Goodbye, Ancient Dragon.
So, I mean, to be fair, he took down 2 Forsaken ones and a Wrath Chosen unit by himself. So
it's not bad.
It's not bad. I actually think it might be a straight, like an even trade. But again, it didn't even need to happen. I could have killed those Forsaken ones with range damage easily before they got in. There was no reason to waste the Ancient Dragon on that trade. So this is the Dumpling decision, and so now we move.
I'm imagining like like in old school cartoons, when someone gets hit in the head, little Tweety birds go around their head. You're sitting there looking at the table, and there's little dumplings bopping around your head.
I just wanted to go to dinner, man. Anyway, so I clean up the Fallen, and we move on.
This is bottom 3. It says bottom 3 move sorta.
Okay, so there were a couple things that happened here. He went ahead and charged one of his Wrath Chosen units into my Fey Knight, which was, I didn't really see that coming, but I also wasn't exactly sure what the point was. I mean, he could have killed him with the Feldrax.
Yeah.
As it was, it kind of allowed him to move the Feldrax like a little bit around the Fey Knight, but ultimately I think he could have just charged with the Feldrax and then reformed, but it doesn't really matter. It kind of puts those Chosen a little bit out of position. And so we'll take a minute to talk about the importance of sportsmanship here, because Josh announces in his movement phase, as he kind of adjusts things around a little bit, he says, all right, I think I'm going to have to chaff those Swordmasters with my Chosen unit. And then he proceeds to not move them. And
he forgets to move them?
He doesn't remember to move them in the movement phase, the magic phase, in the combat phase, in the end of his turn, and then we get into my turn. And I say, Swordmasters, charge your Chaos Warrior brick. And he says, oh, remember I said I was going to chaff him with the Chosen. So, I mean, I'll freely admit, he did do it. He did do it. I think it's a little, I think it's a little borderline, right?
It's a little bit no,
Because
like we're good sports here. Like if you said it and
good
then
sports
forgot to
here,
do it
yeah.
a couple phases later, that's no big thing. But when it's a whole turn later, that's really blurring the
It's
line, you know?
borderline.
Yeah.
It's borderline. I let him do it.
Okay.
Because listen, it's like you said, we're good sports here. So he chats with the chosen. Oh, I'm sorry. He charges my eagle, picks it up. As
Oh,
you
right,
can
yeah.
see, I think he has failed his troll stupidity most turns, if not all
Yeah, it's not doing
turns.
it. It had the
Um,
chance to countercharge your dragon also.
and it failed. It did fail in that important turn, yes. So then in my turn, Swordmasters charge the chosen, right? That are basically up in front
Yeah,
of
or
them.
somewhere right
Kill
here, yeah.
him. Yeah. And he kills my Fey Knight. He does that little wonky move with his Feldrax and kind of walks him around. And so then I'm kind of progressing you through, into my turn here. I think, what do I have for the next picture?
This is bottom 3. This is top 4. And this is the end. I think this is the
Okay.
last photo.
It is, yeah. Okay, so now you can see what happens. So I clean up that chosen unit in the middle, right?
Yeah.
I his Feldrax do that wonky thing. He kills the Fey Knight, and so my Swordmasters are there. At this point, I've lost no scoring units. He's lost 2.
2, yeah.
Maybe 3 with the Barbarian Horsemen. I can't remember if they may have just hit over in the corner. I bring my Initiate out. And my mage, you can see him up above, kind of out of arc of the chariot, right? And I've got my Swordmasters out in the middle there after killing the chosen, right? And I'm basically like, look, if you want to charge the Swordmasters with everything in your army, bring it on. Because now that there aren't any chosen.
Wait. Don't tell me if he does. Don't tell me if he actually does. Okay, but I feel like Josh would take that.
So now that there aren't any chosen, here's the thing: the chariot impacts will go, right, and then the Swordmasters will strike before everything,
right? And just delete this unit.
Just delete that unit. So I do have a buff up on them. So I'm like, let's go. So a couple of very unfortunate things happen in this phase. One, I roll on a 3 dice cast. I roll a miscast on my Cosmo Master, right there up at the top, right? I get a 3, whatever, right? So 2d6, strength 3, AP 2 hits on the mage, and I kill him.
Oh no! On that miscast,
he had no wounds on him. Yeah, so on a 3 dice miscast, right? So I think I do like pretty average, like 7 or 8 hits. I'm winning on 5s. I get a 6 up, 4 up, and he dies. That
wait. So just to be clear, Josh did not take the charge.
Wait, so hold on. This happens in this turn.
Oh, okay.
This happens in this turn, right? So now, fast forward. Josh charges. He fails at stupidity. He charges with the trolls. He charges with the chariot and the chosen in the flank.
Oh,
not the big brick. So
this guy. Yeah.
That little unit. Yeah. So he comes in. I kill the chariot. I fail to kill the chosen. But I don't actually win by much, and he passes the chosen's break check, which is huge.
That is huge.
Yeah, he's got like a couple of them left, but he came into the side, right? So I didn't have a ton of attacks, and so that was I think he kills probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 8 or so Swordmasters, 10. It's a good amount. So that was in his turn 4, right? So then in my turn, in the bottom of that turn, Swordmaster's turn, they kill the chosen.
The rest of the chosen.
Turn,
yeah.
Right. Correct. And then they reform. I think I have to use no. So I just flee. Well, we can kind of fast forward through the rest. I basically just flee the Feldrax with the archers and the lancers the rest of the game. The Feldrax do not kill anything except for that yellow knight. Yeah. So that was mission accomplished. But so I kill that chosen unit off. So now I'm up 3 on the objective, right?
Yeah.
So feeling pretty confident because essentially only the sword masters are at play. Everything else is kind of in the back. So then in his turn 5, sword masters are sitting there again. There's like 8 or 10 less of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any buffs because I don't have a mage anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I just have the initiate, and he stops the buffs. And so he has a decision to make, and what he decides to do is he decides once again to not charge with this big brick.
Josh.
But he passes stupidity on the trolls, and he charges in with the trolls. Okay. So he charges in with the trolls, and then what happens there is I still cannot believe it to this day. I still cannot believe what happened with the trolls. I'm vaguely remembering the stat, but I still have the majority of the attacks with swordmasters. They strike first, right? I think what it was I had 28 hits on the trolls, and I think that and then wounding on 4s, and if I recall correctly, I think I wounded with 6. So the trolls basically came in, I bounced off of them, right?
Yeah.
3s by 4s, right? With all those attacks, I bounce off of them. He wins the combat, and essentially what happens over the course of the rest of the game is he grinds the swordmasters out with those trolls.
No way.
Just 100%. 3 trolls who have taken a wound or 2. You could see it.
Yeah, there's a dice
there.
Like
a little purple thing on the back of them, right? So 3 somewhat damaged trolls, right, kill essentially 20-something swordmasters by themselves. The big brick never comes in, and the swordmasters die to a man at the end of the game, and that is how the game ends. Yeah,
that's crazy. Was he just rolling his fortitude saves or what?
Well, that first round, I just biffed
you whiffed. Yeah.
I should look it up. I wrote it to somebody because I was so shocked by it. It's let me see if I can track it down. It was awful.
Let's just go to the final score here. Let's go to the. Oh, there's another photo.
No.
Bottom 4.
Oh,
no,
great.
No, there is. I just put this in the wrong order. Yeah, we already talked about this. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, this is top of 6.
Oh, okay. So here you go. You can see him chasing me down and me fleeing with the Feldrax and rallying everything. I was able to stay out of his line of sight, and I think I may have picked up that flying mage over on the right hand side. But you can see now what's happening, right? So this is the turn that the trolls came in, and I start failing with let's see if I can find this.
All right, well, let's go to the end scorecard here. That leaves you with a 13, which is what you're describing sounds horrible. Coming out with a 13 sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Here is, let me see. I know I have this stat somewhere. No.
No.
Here. Here we go. Oh, no, it was even worse. I hit 32 times. 32, and I wounded on 4s 3 times.
3?
3. I mean, it's bad. Anyways, long story short. So, I win objective, right? But because I was done with my Ancient Dragon, blew up my mage on a 3 dice cast, and biffed with the Swordmasters. Right there is it's 2,500 points. So I don't give up any other points other than the eagle, obviously. I don't give up any other points in the match, but I give away 2,500 points. And ultimately, because I didn't get the Feldrax, which are pretty expensive, I didn't touch his main brick with his sorcerer, right? So essentially, we end up a push on points, and I win objective.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So I mean, I'll be clear. I've belabored the luck point because that roll was so sideways, but ultimately, this game came down to the dumpling decision. And there's, I should have. I think the way that I was playing this game and the way it was set up to begin with, like it should have been a big win to me. There was no reason to put the Ancient Dragon at risk. If you kind of look into the later phases, even if I blow up the mage, right? The Ancient Dragon should have been
live, and it's a big point sink,
big point sink, right? So I think that was 100% me wanting this game to go fast and just playing sloppy as a result. So good game, Josh. And I'll hopefully we can play in a different round next year,
and not in round 3.
Exactly.
Fair
right.
enough. That wow, that's a crazy game.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Okay, fantastic. That's still looking pretty good. I think even after this, you're on table 1 or table 2.
I think I'm still on 1, but I'm not in first place. So after this, I think my opponent is actually jumps me by quite a bit, because I'm at that point I'm at 46 or something like that on the day. So pretty solid start, but definitely 2 like pretty middle of the road wins to finish out day 1. So still anybody's tournament.
All right, yeah. So stay tuned. We will have round 4 coverage coming up next. Please like and subscribe if you're watching, as always. All the socials in the comments below. But we'll see you next time. Thank you, Vespacian.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.